when my dad caught me watching pornography, wow, I just wanted to die, I was like, this is it. My dad, my Asian dad, catching me watching pornography. That was that was the end of it. Oh man, like it all started like because I grew up in a home where you know my parents they came from Sri Lanka. They had a lot of my dad had a lot of PTSD. And yeah, my parents, they had their own battle. They didn't really love each other. They was just arranged marriage, and so there was not that much love. Perceived love. Like expressed love in my house. It was just like, okay, you get the food, you get some food, you can eat that. The basics were taken care of. But other than that, wow, it was horrible. So I think that impacted me a lot, that because what happened, like the thing that happened was that I was addicted to pornography for like a lot of years, since I was 12, 13. So like more than 15 years I was addicted to this thing called pornography, this thing that is really, really not good for you. So I started early age and continued, and I remember like in the beginning it was just like with the cable network TV, like my parents, they wanted to watch these Sri Lankan TV shows and stuff like that, right? Follow the news back home about the war that was happening and stuff like that. And then one day I was just like, okay, there's so many, like you're a child, right? You're very curious. Okay, what is going on? Like news and all those kind of things. And my Tamil, I don't really understand. I didn't understand that language anyway. So it's like, and I was bored about the television, the Danish television. So it's like, do you know why not just look at this cable network TV and see what's going on? What is else there? Then I saw the catwalk, and then it stimulated me. These women walking catwalk, and then later on it was like Playboy TV, and then the whole toxic ball of delusion just started to roll. And I went more and more into it, and started to like it, and I was because of that lack of love, in my childhood. Maybe some of the Asian people watching this, or even everyone, right? But especially like people who are second generation moving to the West, they might have a similar experience as me, because everything was just strict, the patriarchy, the father just like telling you, shut up, do this, this angry father, this 10-stop dad. And then again, I also thought my mom didn't love me, right? So to numb all that pain, I couldn't feel it because I was in this state of pathology. So I couldn't really feel it, but in a way I could feel it, right? Because I kept abusing this, to numb this pain, to numb it. And yeah, it was not fun, it was really, really not fun. Terrible, so one day, I remember this was yesterday, super, super traumatic. Like because then advanced from the cable networks and from television and all those kind of things. My dad, he proudly bought me a laptop, right? This Hewlett Packard HP laptop, and I was like 15. I was like, yeah, baby, yes, man, laptop life, And then because he was like, you need a laptop, you need to study, right? So he got me one, and then I was like doing the assignment, but now, because of the internet, it was in 2008-09, right? The internet was there, right? It was super accessible, which also meant that pornography was super accessible too. Oh my God, man. And then, yeah, you know what happened, right? So every night I was still living back home, and my dad, he didn't like us, he didn't like us to stay awake, right? So he always like kind of guarded. Every night he kind of like guarded, just checking in the rooms and see, okay, were we awake or were we sleeping? What is going on? Because he wanted us to study and take our studies seriously and stuff like that, right? So I was like, yeah, at that age, like, I think I was around like 14, 15 years old, right? And then I had my laptop, and I was like, okay, let's open up this porn, let's all open up Pornhub or whatever, right? One of the websites. And then I was one night, I was just bored, and then I was finding myself in bed, and then I opened up one of the sites there, right? And I was like, and I trained myself to just shut it off because I could see kind of like when my dad was about to enter my room, because I could see his shadows. Funny enough, shadow work. So when I kind of like saw his shadow, I sensed that, or heard him, right? Okay, now he's coming in. I'll just, shut it down. But this time, I think my dad, he kind of lured me, He lured me, and, I'm sitting there comfortably watching porn, just about, I guess, to jerk off. And then my dad is immediately just rushing in, like lightning speed. And I cannot react. I'm frozen. My nervous system is frozen. Also, like from an inner work perspective, like constantly being yelled at and shot down, humiliated, I was used to that. My nervous system were just frozen all the time, constantly. So when this happened, like when my dad, he came in, and he's not a weak guy, he's not a thin, scrawly kind of guy. He's a bigger guy, so he was doing gymming and sports and stuff like that, right? And he was brutal. So he just came in. I was like, whoa, immediately when I saw him, I couldn't react. I was just frozen. And then what happened? Like, he just takes my laptop. And at that point, I'm like, fuck, I just want to die. I just want to die now, man. Like, wow, I can't do anything. I wish I had a time machine and I could just, just don't use that laptop for the whole night, just pack it away and just sleep. But yeah, we don't have time machines yet. But anyway, when he took it, and he didn't say anything, right? He just came in, lightning speed, took the laptop, and then went to his office with this laptop. Oh, fuck, man, I just wish I didn't existed. And then the next day, I just wake up. My dad, he's at work. I have to go to school, and then I just sneak into his office, and then I just take it, And he never really, ever since that day, we haven't really spoken about that incident, and it's been like so many years since it happened, like almost 20 years. But again, like, it shamed me a lot, because he didn't, speak to me, The same happened when I was drunk for the first time. He just picked me up and didn't want to speak to me. That hurts more. Like, it fuels the shame much, much more, right? Instead of maybe you got a reprimand, or he's correct, screaming at you and stuff like that. Okay, then at least, at least he's reacting, right? But not reacting at all. That really, really hurt. I wish that maybe I need everything is written, right? Like Maktub, everything is written. So maybe I needed this experience to wake the fuck up. But the thing afterwards was, like, I just, instead of just stopping it, the shame in a way could have functioned like I should have stopped it, but like in many other cases with many other people, we just hide it even more, So we hide the behavior. We know it's wrong. We know it is shameful, and then we hide it. It reinforces the shame even more, which actually makes the addiction even harder to recover from. And that is what happened with my life, So I just kept watching it, abusing it for years and years and years and years and years, like 15 years more from that day, then 50 years more. I just keep doing it, And I suffered a lot from it, Like, I didn't really had a dating life, and I didn't have good friends and stuff like that, because I was just looking forward to just go home, and do this, and then the next day just be tired and not be able to, recover and be motivated to go out and meet real people, instead of all this pornography stuff, right? So it really, really messed up my life until I finally started to recover. I finally felt the pain. I had a pep talk from one of my friends, and that really, really ignited the whole thing, that made me meet the ones I should meet, like the people who were like so much more into self-development, spirituality, healing, and all those kind of things, right? So I met those people, and together with them, we finally stopped this abuse about pornography, right? So again, like, maybe the point of this video sounds like the funny story, like, okay, yeah, but the point is that like when we hide something, right, it just makes everything much worse. And the other point is like, maybe feel the pain so much that you cannot do it anymore, right? Like you gotta ask yourself why. What is it that I'm doing? And that is what happened to me, like with my friend, this pep talk that I had with my friend, like he's like, what the fuck is it that we're doing? What is it that we're doing? And then keep challenging that, why is it that we're doing all these things? Why is it that we feel miserable? Because we felt miserable, we felt bad, we felt extremely lonely, shameful. And sometimes it's just like that one question about just asking yourself, why? Why, what, how does this make me feel? Because in many occasions, I just kept feeling bad, and it just went worse. And I wanted results, I wanted a purpose, I was not satisfied with my life, So when finally also like later on when I met these people and, my friends here, and we all started to battle this together, right? Like release and not battling it, but maybe like accepting it, welcome it, that we have this addiction, welcome all the feelings, go into all the feelings, go into the shame, That's also the secret, go into the shame, just feel it. Every time shame comes, it's a doorway into success, it's a doorway into heaven, right? Because the shame triggers growth. Like, okay, for example, shame comes up. For example, let's say that you watch pornography, right? And you feel like, I'm hiding it. What is going on? That little notion is telling you, okay, it is time to grow. Like you have a chance now to grow. You are also in tune with your emotions, your feelings. Because I was not like that. I was in apathy. I couldn't feel it. That's why I just kept going, kept abusing pornography, right? So it's a good sign if you even feel it, if you start feeling it. If you feel your emotions, it's a wonderful sign because it means that you're not in apathy anymore. And then be with the feeling, right? Dissect into it. Ask it questions. Welcome it. It's like a friendly brother. It's like this brother, like this friendly guy coming up to me and telling me like, Jin, we need to pull ourselves together. What is it that we're doing with our life? Shame is like that. Treat it as a brother, right? It's a shadow, basically, a shame shadow, right? And then be with it, listen to it, and then dissect it, release it. And for me also, coupled with that, the more I released inside, because I did the shame work, I did all the other kind of work, like inner work, shed away trauma, exposure therapy, all kind of therapy, right? I started to feel more. I started to be so sensitive that even watching for just like a couple of seconds, I could feel this is not right. This is so wrong. This is toxic. This is actually pulling me back to the Jin I don't want to be, right? The version I don't want to be. And then when I finally started to live life more and more, and trying to focus on how I can reach people, help people, how I can share my insights, my teachings, my meditations that I create myself actually, the mentorship, like the things that I got taught by people who are better than me. How can I raffinate that and share it? How can I share it to the people, the population, and help them too, because pornography is fucked up, Pornography is just a doorway in this case, in this story. Shame is the actual subject, how to release so much shame, so you don't need to hide. That is where we want to be. We want to live a life which is shame-free. There's no shame. Whether it's like approaching people to gain friendships, romantic relations, start a business, to just help people, sacrifice your life to do what you really want. For example, right now I'm like sacrificing a lot of my life. I could have been married, have children and stuff like that, right? But I released that. That is one of the recent shame that I released, to really follow this. Follow what I really believe in. So yeah, that is my story. So stay curious and ask yourself so many questions, dissect, and when the shame comes in, welcome it as a brother. That's it.